Welcome back to the Artefactors Union. I'm your host and foreman, Douglas Scoundrels, and today we are assembling the Ferryman's Toll box for the Resurrectionist faction, Tormented, and Urami keyword. Box has two models, Kari Zotiko over here, the Ghost Pirate Lady, and the Ferryman, which is the pirate ship, I guess. And that's our artwork. On the back, we have our renders. Kari with, ghost tentacle things, and the Ferryman, which is a boat. Part of a boat. Let's look at the sprue. Lucky for us, there is just not a lot here, so hooray. Sorry, let's get the names up right if we can. Kari is, goodness, 6 pieces? I'll take it. And then the Ferryman is, there's a piece missing here, but I know where it is. Goodness, just not a lot. I got the pieces that are missing in a little baggie. I don't know if anyone else did, but I'll try and figure out which one is which so I can just use the proper lettering, if at all possible. But anyways, we're going to move on to Captain Kari Zotiko first. For Kari, we are going to add the two halves of the body together, then the left arm, the right arm, do the hook, the rest of the hook, that's on the right arm, and then the head. So grab E2 and E3 first. E3 plus E2. The collar on E2 is going to fit over the top of E3, just letting you know. Okay, now grab E4, which is going to be our left arm. That went in nice and easy with a very thin seam. I forgot the word for a second. Okay, now grab E5, which is going to be the right arm. We'll figure out where that chain attaches to back here. Got another easy connection with a small seam, and the chain ends up connecting to the waist under the left arm. I wouldn't change up the order of assembly. It fits in there easily without the arm getting in the way, so I'm not going to mind that. We've got 2 bits left. E6 is going to be the rest of the hook. Another easy connection. Weird figured out grappling hooks, finally, because I remember the iron skewers being a bit of a pain. Let's finish it off with E1 at the head. And that's all there is to it. She's done. Let's put her on a base. Captain Kari Zotiko is done. Hardest part was not really anything. It was very simple. I guess the 2 prongs on the grappling hook probably be the hardest part, and yeah, that's me really stretching to find a difficult thing here. And you'd think she'd be a lot more flexible and noodly appendage stuff, but no, pretty easy. Very happy with that. Now let's move on to probably the harder model. Okay, I'm holding it how I think those 2 pieces fit onto the sprue, and nice thing is that I think we can combine them first just to get them out of the way so I don't have to pretend like they're actually connected on the sprue here. I'm holding on to them as best as I can. So we'll combine F6 and F7 together, which is going to be the base of the model. Then we're going to combine the parts of the ship, which is F4, F5, and F3. And then we will go ahead and I think glue the body on, which is F1, and then do the 2 arms and the head. Yeah, so start with F7 and F6. F6 plus F7, this is our base, and we can set it down for now. Now we'll grab F3 and then F5, which will split the go right in between F3 and F4. So F3 will glue in F5 and then glue in F4 on top of that. Alright, here's F3. F5 is going to fit right along here. You can see these 2 dots, which will correspond to the 2 dots in here. As far as orientation goes, if you look at the ends of F5, and I don't drop them on the table, you can see that one of them is slightly thinner than the other. This is the thin side, and this is the thick side. The thin side is what's going to go in up towards the top of the bow of the ship. So this is the orientation you're looking for. The thicker end is going to be jammed into the base, I believe, but the reason that it's important is because the 2 bits won't, F4 and F3 won't actually fit together if the thicker end is at the top. So again, here's the orientation. Okay, here they are combined. Now we add F4. And here are all 3 bits combined. Whoops. Okay, let's just add this onto the base now, shall we? Next side of the bow is going to fit right inside this edge, and the end of F5 is going to fit right in there. There we go. That's actually kind of hard to grab onto with tweezers. Alright, now let's start with the body, F1. I'm going to go right in this hole. There it is attached, and it attaches to the front of the boat, quite a bit of the front of the boat, but also does attach down here on the base, so keep that in mind. Okay, now let's grab the left arm, excuse me, which is going to be F10. That is going to fit right in this groove, so the entire upper arm is going to be in there. There it is. You'd want to push it in at the top of the pokey stick to make sure it fits into that groove nice and snug. Now let's move on and drop more stuff. F8 is going to be our right arm. Okay, this is a real weird connection, so I'm going to step through real quick and hopefully my focus will stick. So you initially might think that the connection point into the shoulder is right here, and it's not. This actually connects to the boat right here. The shoulder connection is this groove right here, and that's the only way you're going to get this piece to stick straight up and down. So this will wedge into where her arm would normally start, and this will go right into like the crevice between her back and the boat. I recommend tweezers for this one. It's mildly difficult to get in there. So you want to, as I said, that's where you might have initially thought, and this is where the actual shoulder connection goes. And then the seam you're really concerned with is going to be right in there. You want to close that up as much as possible. Now, if you've got tweezers, you can just do a squeeze right, like up and down squeeze, and then another squeeze to wedge that in. And that will get you the angle that I have right here. And that looks pretty good to me. So we're going to go ahead and move on. Best of luck with that. F9 is going to be the rope around her neck, or possibly I think it's actually the rope that's connecting her chest to the boat, including this connection point. Yeah, that looks good. Seems to look good. Okay, we'll finish off with her head, F2. F2. Head's in there, all screamy and stuff. Double check our seams on the neck. Everything looks good. Let's get her on that 50 mil. Ferryman is done. Most difficult part was definitely the right arm, although the whole thing was just a little more technical than what you're normally used to. Order is important, and I'm really happy I got this model to show to you, because I feel like some people are going to have a hard time with it otherwise. Yeah, left arm wasn't too terribly easy either. Also, I had a hard time actually getting that arm back in. I nudged it out of place at one point, so... Anyways, let's look at the 2 of them. Whole box. Ferryman's toll is done. Box contains 1 Captain Kari Zotiko and the Ferryman, or half of it. The Ferryman is the thing strapped to the front. The ship is part of... Anyways, the hardest part was all in the Ferryman. There was no real difficulty in Kari whatsoever. And then Ferryman had those lovely difficult arms and the one piece in the center of the ship that you need to figure out the orientation for and all that other stuff. So, yeah, that's where you're going to have to deal with the most pain, but it'll go together okay. Yeah. At least nothing is super teeny tiny. At least not that. Okay, I have been your host and foreman, Douglas Scoundrels, helping you build a better Malifaux. Have a good night.